Should you, as a student, use AI in your college applications? And what about colleges? Are they using AI to judge you? I'm Kevin from the Elevated School, Yale grad, amateur breakdancer, and pro college counselor. Today, I'll be breaking down everything we learned about AI at the #1 college admissions conference in the US, where we spoke directly with admission officers from schools like Yale, Columbia, Carnegie Mellon, and more. Now, before we talk about how you should use AI in your college apps, let's discuss how colleges are using AI. And the short answer is yes, they are using it, but not in the way that you think. When Jeff and I strolled down the expo hall at this college admissions conference, AI was everywhere. Specifically, it was for B2B or business to business automation functions. I'm talking about AI tools for marketing, enrollment management, and generally speaking, cost cutting for administrative burdens. Here's the truth, guys. Outside of the Ivies and top 20 schools, top 50 schools, many colleges in America struggle to get enough students to simply apply and enroll. One of our mentors who helped co-found CollegeVine told us their company hit a unicorn billion-dollar valuation after pivoting to this AI enrollment space. Yeah, that's how big the business side of AI is in higher ed. But what about admissions? Are colleges actively using AI in their process to evaluate you guys as students? I think the answer just might surprise you. At this AI admissions toolkit panel, we learned yes. Virginia Tech, right on brand, is using AI to reduce readers from 2 per file to 1. They say human eyes still review everything, but the AI helps triage the load. Bit of an alarming trend if you ask me, because if you're going from 2 admission readers to 1, how long will it be until you go from 1 admissions reader to 0 and it's just purely AI? UNC, meanwhile, quietly tested AI on essays, mainly to flag grammar or writing style, but this too raised some eyebrows. What even is good writing style, and how would an AI know that? And what about ESL, English as a second language students? Will you be penalized just because you misspelled 1 word or you forgot a comma? But get this, when we spoke to the big kahunas, the top 20s, the Ivies, Yale, Columbia, UCLA, Carnegie Mellon, they all said, no, 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 we don't use AI at all. There are still human eyes on every single application, thank goodness. Sure, we're thinking about it, we're talking about it, but no machine or computer ever makes the final call. Here's a college application myth. A lot of students think that their essays are being run through these AI detectors. But if you guys want to know the truth, most colleges don't even bother. Why? Well, because as this GW admissions officer pointed out, the AI detectors are far from perfect. Right now, there's so many hallucinations and false positives that the tool is essentially useless to them. But how do admission officers view student AI use? While we were at the conference, we asked so many admission officers this question, and they repeatedly said, using AI to brainstorm, polish. That's not that different from asking an older sibling or your uncle or your neighbor down the street English teacher for some help. In their opinion, it's quite democratizing, actually. The reality is that not everyone can pay for a private counselor, but now so many students can get really fast, cheap, actually free feedback on grammar and structure. And most importantly, whether their topic or direction is even headed the right way. That said, there are caveats, right? Like, please, obviously, don't let AI write your essay. Admission officers weren't born yesterday. They can easily smell the difference between a 17-year-old's voice and a super polished op-ed. The other thing to note too is that they will compare different parts of your application. Princeton, for example, lets you submit a research portfolio. They even ask for a writing sample from one of your humanities courses. So if your voice sounds wildly different, that might raise some red flags. I'm sorry this has to be said, but try to avoid AI-ish words. Here's a funny example that the GW admissions director shared. He pointed out that the word tapestry appeared in fewer than 50 essays, like 5 years ago. But last year, it showed up more than 500 times. Along that vein, similarly, don't overuse the em dash, even if that's a part of your natural writing. It could be perceived as a little bit of a risk in today's AI climate. What happens if you're accused of using AI? This actually happened to one of my students. Relax, just take a step back and be ready to explain your process. You gotta defend yourself. The best way to do that is to document everything, right? Save all of your past drafts, create copies of your essays, ask your teachers for feedback early and often so that they can also back you up, right? If you do use Chat, Claude, Perplexity, reference the prompt that you wrote. I mean, these days, the AI will save your prompt automatically. So just don't ask it to do something silly like, hey, please write my entire essay. This is okay. Hey chat, can you help me condense this down to 650 words? Can you suggest ways to improve the opening paragraph? Can you give me some tips on how to structure this Why Our School essay? And this is more of a gray area. Hey, can you give me 10 or 20 ideas for a hook that demands admission? You guys want to hear something absolutely crazy? Admission officers actually encourage guidance counselors to spam AI for their rec letters. Think about it though. These poor public school counselors, they sometimes write 200 to 300 letters, in a 2 or 3 week span over their winter break. That's exhausting. Multiple admission officers agreed with the following statement. Instead of spending all night fixing grammar, the counselors should be spending more time with you, getting to know their students. One admission officer even suggested this, like feed ChatGPT a few of your past letters so it learns your voice, then use the student brag sheets to generate drafts, which you can then polish a little bit further. The admission officer was so real. He was like, guys, we know that you guys have saved templates as guidance counselors, and we would prefer reading an AI polished essay as opposed to a formulaic rec letter where it's just like you filled in the blanks. So yeah, counselors can use AI, but students still be a little bit careful. Here are the 2 best ways to use AI in your college apps. The activities list. Totally fair to ask AI to shorten, whether that's for your essays or those pesky 150 character descriptions for your activities list. It can be really, really hard to get into that word limit, character limit, so you can consult with the AI, then edit it again in your own style. Ask for suggestions to improve certain verbs. All that is kosher. However, an even better way to leverage AI, which all of the admissions officers, all of the guidance counselors agreed with, is for school research. Not only will this help you figure out your school list, but it will really help in those why our school, why our major supplemental essays. Of course, no AI is perfect, no tool is perfect, and it's a machine. It will never go above and beyond the call of duty. For instance, it can't go on Instagram and research student clubs and send DMs asking students for advice, which, wink wink nudge nudge, is something you totally should do. If you want help blending authenticity with polish, the human way, well, that's what we do best. Check out elevated.school/editmyessay and use this code YouTube15 to get 15% off your first purchase. If this helped, it would really mean the world to me if you guys could just leave a nice comment, subscribe, and yeah, let me know below. Would you guys use AI in your college apps? Why or why not? Until next time, my dear virtual little sibling, peace.